Hey there, and welcome to Chasing the Rabbit from First Baptist Church of the Islands in Savannah, Georgia. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us and turn on your notifications. Click that bell to get future episodes delivered straight to you. I am Adam, and I'll be your host for today's episode. So, hey, let's chase some rabbits. All right. Well, hello, everybody. It is time for Chasing the Rabbit podcast. A little bit different voice that we heard today, kind of starting things off. We are a man down today. We should have put Babyface in his spot. We didn't do that.
We did, but we didn't put the camera there.
Yeah,
So-
Babyface
Got one last
is,
shot
so
now.
Brooks is behind. It's Babyface ABC back there. behind the
Baby
guys. Yeah, Baby Kale, ABC. Easy as
Isn't that
one,
like
two,
a
three.
salad, baby kale?
Yeah, baby kill salad. Yeah.
It's spelled different, but you know.
Yeah, he is not with us today. He is actually making some visits. I think he got a new boat recently. They named it Visitation, and he's out on visitation is what I think somebody. I'm just teasing. No, that's not at all what's going on. But we do miss him today. Let's go ahead and go around. I guess we can start with us if you want to.
Sure, man.
You want to just start with us, and we'll jump through and let everybody know who we are. My name is Adam, and I'm the worship pastor. I had to make sure I had the right slide up. I had to make sure I had the right slide up.
What's up, guys? This is Eric, and I'm a student pastor.
All right. This is J.O. Jeremy Young, the children's pastor.
This is Jason, the equipping pastor.
All right. And we're excited to be here today. I tell you, I don't know that we know what's happening. Did y'all see our post on Facebook this past week from our episode? We had a gentleman who I didn't know his name. He asked if we had professional writers.
He's being sarcastic, right?
I hope so.
Was that for real?
He asked if we had professional
I haven't
writers.
been on Facebook in a week or two.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
He
sitting around and
asked
coming
if
up with the
we-
stuff that we talk about, like on purpose?
Oh,
That's a compliment, isn't it?
It's that good.
That's a compliment.
it's that good. Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it that good or not, but
I had somebody stop me in the lobby yesterday and said something about Brooks should have to Jeremy yesterday in the service. I don't remember now why he was saying.
oh,
but
yeah.
yeah. He
That
just
was the-
and I was like, oh, you
The
heard it
Go and
this
Pray
week.
event, the camera, that whole
Yeah, the
conversation.
camera, and you were
Oh.
talking about the whistle and that you wish you could whistle like.
I don't like being whistled at.
Makes me uncomfortable.
It's a different kind of
Please
whistle.
stop.
Oh my gosh. You people are crazy. But we have some fun stuff happening today. You may notice there's some cups in front of all of us that have letters on them.
Angela
And
Brooks Kale.
They're in honor of Pastor Brooks. And so we'll be able to go through and talk about all of that here in just a bit. I don't know. Do you think he decided to not be here today because he was so upset because all of us spoke yesterday and he might have felt a little intimidated?
It might, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. He was
There's a lot of good
intimidated.
Yeah.
He was a little intimidated, so he's
like
like, I
these people.
can't come. Yeah.
It was really brave of him to come up after we were all done. Like, the show was amazing, and then he had to come up and tie a ribbon. Oh, my God. Wow.
Jeremy obviously missed everything I said. This is a platform, not for performance, but
Not a stage
for influence.
performance.
Yeah.
A platform for influence.
Totally missed that. Jeremy,
Platform
totally.
for my ego.
Jeremy,
It's not big enough, brother.
Jeremy said that the openers were better than the
Yeah,
headliner. That's what he just said.
Had to still not a platform.
So Brooks is the headliner, huh?
It was, listen.
He was the
this
last
is what
one, so that
Brooks
makes
had
him
to
the-
bring food in order to make it good, you know.
Oh, he had to bring food.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
know. It took me a second. Then I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, we need
I was
to have a moment.
I was
of
telling
silence
Benjamin
for
after
that
the
one.
Lord's
I'm
Supper
joking.
yesterday. So I don't love our oyster crackers, or I'm sorry, I don't love our crackers that we use for Lord's Supper, and it's because growing up in our church we had oyster crackers. And I remember a time when I was like 3 or 4, and it was before I was a Christian, and I remember going up after Lord's Supper and just snacking off the table. And I was just literally just sitting there, and nobody told me no. And I guess they figured it's all going to go to trash anyway, and everybody else has already had their hands in it. So if the kid wants to eat the oyster crackers, just let him. But
The preacher's kids up
Jason
I'm up
there.
there, and it was one of those tables. This do in remembrance of me, and I'm sitting there
Jason
just
had extra
munching on the
juices.
oyster crackers.
One of the church members like, I don't think they're feeding those kids.
Do we say
y'all-
something to the preacher's kid?
Was it here here, or was it another church I served that we had they're like $50 size, and they're like
When we had the peel ones,
COVID, yeah.
when we had the peel ones,
Was it
they've got
here?
the little wafers, and I think they're really like
And they're
what
like
they use in the
styrofoam.
Catholic Church.
Yeah.
COVID cakes.
And they're
Yeah.
the little wafers, the round wafers, and
Wait,
they look like little quarters.
we were talking about it.
They're
in,
worse than what we use.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it in choir rehearsal on Wednesday night, and I was just debriefing the choir on how it would go and how they would come down. And one of them asked me if we had the Lunchable Jesus.
Oh.
And at first it took me for a second, and I'm like, "What did she just ask me?" And she said, "I didn't know how else to say it. You know, it's like it's all prepackaged." I said, "No,
yeah.
these are not prepackaged."
I
said,
could say
"We're-"
Lunchable Lord's Supper, but I'm not.
Well,
Gonna
maybe
say it.
she
know.
believes in transubstantiation.
Yeah, maybe so.
Oh, we're gonna go down that road, huh?
Does it transform inside the package or after you peel it?
Yeah, let's not.
Moving along.
Let's not chase that rabbit. Those are things that the early church fathers never had to deal with.
Yeah, it was cool though. I mean, because it was Brooks's idea to get us all up there, and that we kind of we seemed, we just appear that way to be unified, and we all came together and then had
Put on a
At
good
least in the
show.
public eye, we look good, right?
Put on a good show. Those openers and headliner.
but then we came together to have the Lord's Supper. It was a cool concept
It
that he
was.
came up
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
it was really neat.
Except we messed you up in the first service
Y'all
because
messed me up.
Eric and I needed to duck out after we were all done talking. So we all
Yeah.
stayed to hear everybody talk.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we
you
were
tapped
nice
me on
enough.
the shoulder, and you were like, "Come on!"
And I like tapped you on the knee, and I'm like, I'm leaving because I need to go check on some stuff. In
I
this
thought we
hour.
had to go back on stage for something. I
And
was
so
like,
he
"Oh."
follows me out, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I need to go do some stuff. I'll be in there in the second hour." He's like, "But I was going to do Lord's Supper." And I'm like, well, you didn't have to come with me. I'm sorry.
I
You're
snuck
like-
in the back. That was
Just
Amber.
wanted you to know what was going on. So, I
You
messed
got it
up.
the second time, right? The second service.
No, second one I went back upstairs.
Oh,
The
okay.
first
Yeah,
one
we
I,
just
ducked out the
flip-flopped
second
both
service,
up,
yeah.
I did
Y'all
partake.
flip flopped.
We needed to
Yeah.
duck out to go take care of some
Yeah.
To
details,
still
so-
teach.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was good. I enjoyed that. It was a different way of doing that. And I heard lots of great comments. I even had some text messages late yesterday of folks that enjoyed getting to hear from all of us, because that's not common. They don't get to hear from all of us at once like that. So that was really neat. Well, who wants to talk about what we've got in front of us here? Because this is a little interesting.
I'm ready, man. Let's go.
All right, Eric.
All right. we ready?
So
Or
we're
it's too
doing
cold?
a coffee taste test today. So we are looking to start working. We've used this vendor before, but we kind of switched away. Maybe a little before COVID, we switched from getting the prepackaged coffee. We're looking to go back to them partly because they have such good variety, and it would make it easier for all of us to not have to be going over to Kroger and buy a can of Folgers. But so we wanted to taste it. But one of our goals is down the road to be able to truly have our Islands blend. So we wanted to do a taste test, and I hate that Brooks isn't here today when we're doing it. So we're going to have to get him to taste test later too.
He likes too much creamer, though. I don't know if he could even taste that part.
Can he do it without creamer?
Yeah.
So we've got 3 flavors today to try. We'll see of these 3 which is our favorite. It doesn't mean this is where we got to make the decision today on the Islands blend. We've got leftover coffee over here that we'll take to lunch bunch. And Eric and I were saying we could get their vote too. So get our senior adults to chime in as well. So we got 3 flavors. I only know what A is. Eric did all 3 of them, and I quit watching when he was labeling, so I wouldn't be biased. So Eric knows what they all are, so he's got to do his best blind taste test. But the rest of us don't know what you're tasting. It's all full calf. There is no decaf, Adam. So just let you know, there's no decaf. So just taste it. You'll
Waste
be all
the
right.
water
just
on
gonna take
decaf.
it.
You'll be all
What's
right.
wrong with
So
you?
your
You got
doctor
a little
won't get on
spoon.
us
You can
too much.
You can slurp.
So I'll let Eric take over from there. I've given the premise, but you direct us on how we're going to go in what order and what you want to do.
You can go whatever order you want to go. So 3 different blends, and just check color, smell, and then take a little sippy sip. You don't have to do the whole spit back out thing because that'd be gross on
All right.
the podcast.
So what letter you want to start
Does
with?
color matter? Does color matter to you? I drink a lot of cream and sugar, but
I know, I've seen it. Jeremy has milk with a splash of coffee. No, I mean, and actually, it just gives you an idea of kind of how dark the roast is. Like, you can pull it
I
up with
would
a
say
spoon.
too, definitely it's good to smell it before you taste
Yeah.
it because taste buds are so connected
Was it
to
like
you.
80% of
Should we
your
start
flavors?
starting
So
with-
we're going with A
We'll
first.
start with A. We'll start with A.
hey,
Yeah.
What color do you give it?
All
It's
right,
a nice
make some
amber. It's a very nice amber color.
oh, thank you. I'll tell her.
Amber color.
I want to compare each one. So
It smells
You
good.
can do the
I don't know what I
slurp.
think about colors, but
Oh, you didn't do this?
Is everybody here
Man, I was
slurping?
waiting for you.
I tried not to slur it.
We just lost like 3
Yeah.
listeners with that.
It tastes a little bit like Folgers to me. I don't know. What do we need to know what it is, or we
No,
find
not
out
yet.
later?
Not yet. We're working our way through. So
you don't want to know because
1 or 2 sips.
The less you know, the less likely you are to judge it.
All right, so moving on to B. Check B.
B.
You just went ahead and drank it.
I had a little bit. Yeah,
B doesn't have a lot of smell to it.
I didn't make mine as
No, B
full as
doesn't.
I did y'all's.
It's darker though, isn't it?
It is a little darker, but it doesn't have the aroma.
Are we on B now?
B, yes.
B.
It seems kind of watered down.
It is darker.
You seem kind of watered down.
Your face is watered down.
All right, I got to stop if y'all keep going. So speed. Stopping it right there. Okay.
You didn't put any of that mushroom coffee in there,
No,
did you?
I can attest. There's no like Adam's Tom.
Right now, I feel like
foolery over
A
here.
is coffee and B is coffee. That's where I'm at. What are you thinking? Oh, well, don't say it yet.
Yeah, I'll come back to it.
B has a different mouthfeel. I just wanted to use that word.
I
I
like
don't know what that means.
He's
I
getting all
just wanted to use
technical.
that
I don't know
word.
what it means, but I'll say it.
I heard it in the show I was watching the other day. Ooh.
C has a little more aroma than B for sure. B, I couldn't even hardly smell it.
See, I know what the flavors are. I just don't know which one B and C are.
Excuse
so
me for those watching. I just got too much caffeine and hit the camera. So,
You're going to knock it down
I
again.
did.
That spoonful got you, did it?
See, I feel
know.
like A and B were very similar.
This one's darker.
C, I feel like, has a different flavor. I'm liking that. Maybe
kinda
just,
like
C is a
A,
little
but
smoother,
try.
I think, for me.
and there was a fourth flavor that they didn't have in stock that
Yeah.
I'd like
Oh,
to
yeah.
throw into the mix sometime.
They
C
have
is
seasonal ones
much
too. We talked about once we get
smoother.
things up and running, we could actually have like a seasonal blend on the islands.
I'm
Too.
between A and C.
Yeah.
To me, A
Okay.
and B are very equivalent.
All right.
So y'all are saying B is out?
B is out. B has much more of a bitterness than A did.
There's a reason
Surprising.
Ooh.
Yeah. And A tasted and smelled a little more burnt. I think they might have roasted
I
it
can
too
see that,
long.
yeah.
Who's the roaster? Tell him he needs to take some lessons.
Some guy up in New Jersey.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
New Jersey.
So Jason was telling us they do these in big batch too.
Yeah.
So like B and C were actually individual packets that were pre-measured and pre-done. A was pulled out of a big batch,
Ah,
and put into small
okay.
into like a random bag. You want to know?
A
Well, there
was?
was a clear
Yeah.
winner.
A was in
to
the
me.
bag?
There's a clear winner.
What's
to
your
me.
clear?
I don't even know what A is anymore. I thought it was something different.
It's Canadian coffee.
I
A.
C
confused
is by
myself.
far. C
Okay.
is like
C's good.
like leaps and bounds above the other.
I need to make a decision before you say.
I kind of liked A, but I can go
Yeah.
with C.
I'm
C
kind of
is
leaning towards C, but
far
I might be
better than the
biased.
other
All right, so
two.
we're kicking B out.
B is like
is bitter.
I would feed it to the ant.
It's bitter and it's got like it lingers on my tongue.
Is
I don't
B?
like it.
That's
Do
the
you have
mouthfeel
to
I
let
was
it
Can I
talking
guess?
about.
Is B the French roast?
Do you
is
have
the
to?
French roast.
Do you
Yeah,
have
you're
to?
right.
Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger?
I'm sorry. We're such
All
a
right.
fool for you. Sorry.
So B was the French roast. So I think that one's out off
B's the
off the
French
table.
roast. That makes
Not
sense.
literally
Oui, oui.
out of a trash can. So now we're down to A and C.
Okay.
Thoughts on A and C?
I thought A,
A
was
is
more
burnt.
flavorful, but I can see C being smoother.
To me, there was a burntness to
Yeah.
A. I didn't like the burnt of it. C is much smoother. C tastes better. It feels better. It's just
It's got almost like a little fruitiness to it.
it does. Yes.
Like I like to
Hold
see.
on, let me see that.
Yes.
Try again.
There's a floral essence.
Is C the one from South Carolina?
It is.
Yeah.
There's a
We'll talk about that joke in a minute.
floral
Switch
essence.
it. Hold on, let me switch around.
Switch
I like
around.
both A and C. They're both good. I can taste
Oh
the
my
difference.
gosh! You can taste the difference.
That
yeah.
is not how you do it.
Yeah. C tastes like
how
honeysuckle
you-
blossoms.
Swish with like
Listerine.
scope. Yeah.
Do the kids do fluoride in school anymore? By the way.
No, they don't.
Oh man.
It's terrible.
Or
for
switch
you.
and spit?
You shouldn't do.
Oh really?
Fluoride's awful.
You're just making stuff up.
No, it really is. Fluoride's terrible. For
It's in
you.
your drinking
Don't do
water.
fluoride.
All
Not
right.
mine.
So Jerem, final call.
I liked A personally, but I can go with C. I mean, I like the smooth.
Nobody's trying to persuade you. It's
Nobody's
it's your
trying
call.
to. Yeah, it's
Your
just
call.
you.
I thought A was a little
It
more.
might be
with what
wrong,
you
but
like,
it's
man.
your call.
You go with what you like.
Your taste buds are broken, but
A is a little more burnt.
You
I'm
are
gonna be honest
drinking
with
coffee
you.
without creamer, so
It's just,
all of it is.
This is more what I think coffee is. C, I would probably rather have.
And that's part of the problem. Probably is you don't like strong coffees because
Yeah.
you like half
Yeah.
cream or half
I just
coffee.
like strong women,
Dude, we
like
can't-
my Amber.
All right, Eric, tell us what
Hey,
we're
hey,
drinking.
All right, Adam, you're on C.
I'm C. Totally
Jason, what are you
C.
feeling?
I'm kind of a toss up. I like A and C both. I guess if I had to pick, probably C. I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I like them both though.
So B was French roast. We already got that off the
Yeah.
table.
B.
A is the donut blend, which
See,
I
that
guess
might be
would
why I liked it.
Closer to like a Dunkin' kind of swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, donut
that's
shop.
fine.
Yeah.
And then C is actually their Colombian blend. But they
I was going to say Columbia is in South Carolina,
What?
but I think that's different.
No, the way
The
it's
armpit
spelled
of the
on
South.
the bag is with the U, which is
Yeah,
South Carolina.
Eric
correct.
asked me when he's making it, how do you spell Colombian, like Colombian coffee? I said Colombian, Colombi.
I like Colombian
Yeah.
actually. Like that's one of my favorite.
But then he
coffee
showed
blends.
me the bag.
and I looked at the bag. I'm like, this is not right.
I was like, they're thinking of the Columbus. You know?
This is Gamecock.
No, it's not.
The coffee, yeah.
Columbia.
It's the state capital. There happens to be a university
Columbia.
there.
Yeah, this is grown in Columbia.
Says the Clemson grad.
Yes, exactly.
Don't
But
be
anyway,
messing
so
with
yeah.
their South Carolina football. They get upset.
So we are Colombian.
Colombian.
We are Colombian.
Columbia.
Or Colombian.
Or Columbia.
Colombian.
It's the
We
South
like at
Kakalaki brand.
Colombian coffee.
Or it is famously hot.
It is famously hot.
Or
Yes.
infamously hot. Isn't that their like new slogan? Infamously hot.
Infamously
That's what you
hot.
want to be known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Too much pavement up
There's
there.
the direction
that's
to
why.
go.
So are we leaning towards C? Is that where we landed
I
on?
think
digging
we
it.
landed on C.
I'm digging it.
Now, so that one's interesting because there is, I can't say for sure, but there was a higher end restaurant here in Savannah, and he said that's like their go to.
Yeah, I remember you told me.
That
The
is
C?
like C.
Yeah.
That is their preference, and so they stock it for everybody.
We really like that coffee over there at the country club.
We thought it was something fancy too. We were like asking, what is this?
Isn't it just like Folgers or Maxwell House or
Folgers.
something?
But they probably haven't cleaned the pot in
Yeah,
like decades. So
It's like a cast iron skillet.
Well, it's also
you know?
too. It runs on like one of those things like they've got at Lookup Lodge where it's like
Yeah.
instant. You know, it's like brews on demand.
Oh, so it's heat.
I don't know how they do that, but
Yeah.
it's one of those systems that it's like it is a brand name, but then it brews on demand, and when you pull the thing, it gives you a fresh.
So
sip of
what's
coffee.
y'all's favorite way to prepare coffee? I know here we have the big carafe brewer. We brew it, just the hot water runs over the grounds. How do y'all
Yeah.
like to do it at home?
I like it.
We've
when
talked about it before,
when
but
my
not
wife
recently.
makes it instead of me.
When you're
It is always
I
better
like
when
it
someone else
prepared
makes
for
it.
me.
everything,
It is
sandwiches
better.
are
Yes.
so much better
Yeah, I
when
totally
somebody
agree
else
with that.
makes them.
That is
We
true.
actually have one of the
Eggs,
Ninja coffee bar
sandwiches.
things.
Yeah.
And like for some reason it has the best tasting coffee. Like I'll drive home past like Starbucks and Dunkin' and everything else to make a pot of coffee in that particular
Wow.
Cool.
unit.
Yeah,
It
we
is
wanna come over
really good.
sometime.
We got a nice OXO. That was like mine and Paige's Christmas/anniversary present to each other, and we got that this past year. And so, it uses a big filter like what our bun uses, so it's close to almost like commercial grade, but it brews 12 cups at one time.
That's cool.
And so that's become kind of my go-to for just standard every day. But we also have a French press, and we've got a Chemex. We got I've got an AeroPress. So I like to
AeroPress, too.
play
You
with
got
making
room for all this
I
stuff.
like
Yeah.
to play with making different ways of
Yeah.
coffee. So sometimes, like if I'm just making for myself, then I'll play with different models and
Yeah.
different things to make coffee.
Yeah, that's cool. I have it's a small grinder, hand grinder, and so I grind my espresso beans, and then I've got a little bitty hand pump, and you have to pump it to get your bars right, and so I like to do my espresso that way. But I prefer French press, and you have to let it bloom, and then you wait a little bit. And it's all about
Good.
blooming. Have to
There's all
let your-
different. You need to
have
watch. There's a
bloom.
guy on YouTube called James Hoffman, and
James
he's
Hoffman.
a coffee roaster in London.
He's still alive.
And
Oh, it's Jimmy. Sorry.
Hoffa.
Hoffa, yeah.
No, he's buried.
Hoffa man.
He's buried on the backside of the island. No,
and 26 other places around Georgia.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, all over the United States.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's pretty good stories about the one on the backside of the island. Though.
Yeah, there are.
But yeah, so James Hoffman, he's a coffee roaster. He was a barista champion and coffee roaster, and has his own coffee shop in London. But he has all these videos, and he is like a coffee snob, coffee nerd. So
That's cool.
But yeah, he's
We have
got
to
all
check
kinds
him
of
out.
recipes for like how to make French roast or French press and
We'll have to
all
check
different
him out.
stuff.
I just use a
No.
Keurig.
A Keurig?
Dunkin' Donuts.
We've got one of my,
I have a Keurig and
What
a
number
regular.
do you pick?
What's
I
the
do 10.
the Keurig that's got the coffee pot that makes like a 12-cup coffee pot, and then the Keurig goes up.
like
Ben
a
loves
duo.
yeah. Ben loves the K cups. Marsha literally every morning she drinks. I make her a 32-ounce coffee to go.
Woo.
And yeah,
it's a lot to put up with you, isn't it?
takes a lot to live with
pot of
me.
coffee.
Takes a lot to live with me, and I do mushroom coffee myself. So we
I
will
tried
we will
it.
serve that here
I
too.
have tried it.
for
and you-
those who.
Then you told me
have-
afterwards that it was one you didn't like. You wanted me to have it, so I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
for those who have a more sophisticated palate.
I'll try it again
Nah,
sometime
dude.
for you.
Soup,
But
man.
I don't really. I just think coffee should be offended for you to call that coffee.
It's just some soup.
There's nothing about that that's coffee. It's
Jason and
Lipton
Eric
soup
call it my
mixed
French
with
onion
chai
soup
tea.
mix. Yeah.
I'm going to pick up some stuff and make my own mix for you sometime. And I'll make you some Lipton
mercy.
soup mix.
Well, now, when will our listeners be able to try these coffees? Will they get to try these?
So we just need to kind of figure out what we want to order first and start doing them. Hopefully soon we're looking to get a coffee brewer for the lobby. We've been making some little changes in the lobby, rearranging some stuff. We're actually looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to be on the coffee service team, I've got, of course, Miss Paula.
We'll even get you a Chasing the Rabbit beanie that you can wear.
We need some volunteers. I'm putting it out there for sure. We need, if you want to be on the greeter team, coffee service team, next steps team, we got lots of teams we need.
A coffee beanie.
The coffee beanie.
Yeah.
So let us know if you're interested in helping us brew some
What
coffee.
are we going to name this new coffee shop? It's not really a shop, but what are we going to name it?
I don't know that we got a name for the shop. We've talked about if we can pick a favorite that we want to order all the time, that this company would let us, they're fine with it, calling it like the Islands Blend, and being able to pick one that we like. So that would be cool to have. Like we could tell guests, hey, stop by the coffee stop, on the way out and grab you a cup.
We can name it Blended.
Coffee Stop. I like that.
The coffee stop.
I
on
like
Main
it.
Street.
Yep. Main Street Coffee Stop. Because I call that Main Street. The Main Street Coffee Stop.
You like to call the hallway Main Street?
I do. I call it Main Street because it's the main hallway down to
We could call the lobby the town square.
the town square.
The coffee stop at the town square. Go to the end of the main street after you've left the cathedral. I don't know what we're going to call the big
Let's
auditorium.
confuse everybody.
The big auditorium.
They're like,
will
are we
be there.
downtown? What is going on?
The ABC.
Well, do
Chapel.
you guys have a local coffee shop you like to go to? I had a guy recently come and visit me. He was from a seminary I went to, and he was like, "What's the most coffee snobbish place in Savannah? That's where we want to go."
Coffee
So I sent him
snobbish?
to Coffee Fox,
Coffee
and they
Fox,
loved it. They
man.
love Coffee Fox.
Foxy Loxy.
I'm not
Yeah.
a fan of Coffee Fox. I would prefer
Foxy Loxy.
Foxy Loxy
They're,
over.
they're different places.
Well, they're owned by the same people.
they're owned by the
Foxy
same.
Loxy is a better location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is Cutter's Point.
Cutter's
out on
is good.
Skidaway. I like
it.
Cutter's Point.
I like the
on
location. I don't
Skidaway.
love their coffee as
Yeah,
much.
see, I like their coffee, but I just do like a drip coffee there, and or pour over. I like the pour over they do there. They bloom it.
Emma swears by Foxy Loxy.
Foxy
She
Loxy,
loves.
yeah.
I mean, like if she's in town, she's got to get to
Yeah.
Foxy Loxy.
Kaylin likes Black Rifle. We go down there a good bit because their
Yeah.
iced coffee is really, really good.
Yeah.
Is that where I
On
buy the
island,
coffee packets?
Friendship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have some new flavors, by the way.
Your
like-
coffee dip.
Yeah,
Your
it's like coffee
snuff.
dip.
They have a
Can we talk about
they
that?
have a mocha one, they have a mint one, and they have a sweet cream
I
one.
should have
now.
brought some of that coffee dip.
Oh my god!
I got the sweet cream one in the truck. I'll go grab
Oh,
you
I
one.
wanna try a
I'll
sweet
hook you
That
up.
goes well with the Colombian. Colombian.
Ooh, I could yeah, drink it while I got that in there.
Them boys in
I got one of the
Columbia.
beef jerky chew things too. You remember those from back
All
in the
right.
day?
I think we do have.
I have a story about the beef jerky chew.
Oh,
But
we
we'll
need to
do that
wait till another
before?
time.
No, we'll do it after.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break.
We got a special event coming up soon in regards to our summer trips. And so this church has always done an amazing job of supporting our students and our kids through the Go offering. And it's an opportunity, instead of hitting you up with 18 different fundraisers throughout the year, we give you an opportunity to give. We let the need be known. And then you guys have always done an amazing job of taking care of that. In years past, we've had almost half of our trip cost cut by that Go offering. So that'll be starting up this week. If you want to just be praying over how much and how you want to support our children and our students, for kids, they're going to Look Up Again, right, Jerem?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And then for students, we're trying a new thing this year. We're not going back to New Orleans. We're going to Dinwiddie, Virginia with group mission trips. So the trip's a little more because they actually work in our materials for the work camp. We'll be doing work camp up there. So just be praying over that. We thank you guys in advance for the support that's going to come from that and just how impactful that'll be for our students and our kids' families. So we appreciate all you guys do with that.
Amen.
That's awesome. I love yesterday when all of us were speaking, because we are recording this on Monday. So yesterday when you spoke about our students, I think all of us have gone on a mission trip with our kids, and they are the hardest working kids. And I love that they don't get flustered by stuff. They don't get, when things change, flexibility is really the key word. And, I've always told the choir that on our choir tours, flexibility is our key word, but the kids are the same way. It's no matter what happened this past year, we had talked about some of those challenges on a podcast episode, but they rolled right through everybody. It was amazing. And so they are amazing kids. And Appalachian ministry is so different
Mm-hmm.
than ministry in New Orleans. So I'm excited to see how the kids respond to that.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool.
They're excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
Speaking of Appalachia, beef jerky.
Oh,
you
the
have
beef
a
jerky
story?
story.
Look at you.
I was thinking about, because before I got into kids ministry, I used to do student ministry, and we used to have this guy named Tony. He was kind of a do-it-all guy, and he wasn't a contractor per se. He was an electrician, but he would lead every trip. So we would go out to Eastern North Carolina, and people would be like, they'd ask me, and I don't know how to do anything. They'd be like, can y'all do roofing? I'm like, yeah. Can y'all do siding? I'm like, yeah. And he'd get so mad at me, like, why'd you sign us up for this? I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to have to figure it out. But it was cool because the youth would go and learn all these new,
Marketable trades.
things.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And I was
Put
like,
that on the resume.
yeah, I know how to do siding. I know how to roof. But no, I was thinking, so years ago, probably this is close to 20 years ago, I think, I was working on the weekends in my in-laws' gas station, and it's in the middle of the mountains. I probably told you guys this story. And so it was long weekends, and people would come in and just buy tobacco products like crazy. Especially all these women, these old ladies like snuff, peach snuff, things like that. They love them some snuff. And so I felt out of place, but I don't like tobacco products. Well, I noticed on the racks they sold those circular cans of beef jerky, and I was like, that's sweet. I can put it in my back pocket. It looks like a
Look
thing.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I got it. I can dip it. I would go through like 5 cans a day just eating that stuff.
Gosh.
Finally, my brother-in-law was like, dude, you got to lay off the beef jerky, man.
Like all stuck in your teeth.
Do you have a pack of Big League Chew in the other pocket?
I love some Big League
Goodness
Chew, man.
gracious.
I can eat Big League Chew in like 2 minutes.
Well, unless you guys have anything else that you wanted to add, I wanted to ask, yesterday we didn't have a lot of time on Sunday to really go into great detail on a lot of stuff. Is there anything that you would like to add, a specific story or something that you didn't have time to tell in regards to your ministry area there on Sunday morning during service, but this is a little different platform. Is there anything that you couldn't share then, but you would like to share about your ministry today?
I've got something because I was trying to stick with the 4 minutes
Mm-hmm.
that Brooks told me I had to have. Trying to bait.
Such a rule follower.
You're the best employee.
I tried, man.
Y'all said I went the longest, but I don't know. I haven't seen any official time on me, so I don't know.
So we
There's no recording. I don't
There's no
think,
recording.
so, yeah.
like a couple of you guys were mentioning, and Brooks did too, just like some specific examples of people getting mission and doing mission. And so with I kind of at the end of my time was praising our leaders because they do an amazing job. And then last night we came in for praise team, and the girls that were there for praise team like, hey, Mr. Eric, we got to be done at 5:15, Pastor. And I'm like, all right, it's cool. That's kind of we scheduled for anyway. Like, because we have girls Bible study. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I knew about it because like the leaders that are doing it let me know about it a while back when they were asking if it was okay, and I said absolutely. But what's amazing is they rotate houses with and then they sent me a picture that night, me and Adrian, of like 12 girls on the couch.
Wow.
And so they rotate houses around these groups, and there's a couple leaders, but then parents are involved in it too, and the students are the ones that lead the devotions each time. And so the past couple months they've told me who's leading and what they're talking about, and it's amazing. Like it's stuff that those students in particular, I'm like, man, they should really talk about that. But it's powerful because it's coming from them, and it's stuff that they come up with. And so the leaders that are over that have kind of told me each month, like, here's who is leading. So I'll put them on my prayer wall early, and that way I'll be praying for them leading up to it. And usually the night of, we'll get a picture back of the crew and stuff. Man, it's stinking awesome. I love
That's
it.
so cool. And unless you're a part of the ministry, you really wouldn't know about
No.
that. That's something that you don't see. I think that's why yesterday was so good, because if you don't have children, or if you don't have students, or if you're not involved in a grow group, you don't know what happens outside of the worship center on Sunday mornings. And so it's really neat to see and to hear all the things that happen and how all that works. And I know our newest grow group that just started for our college kids. I mean, it's so neat to hear all the things happening through that.
Yeah.
Katie, who leads worship with me, her and Michael, her husband, Michael, him and Eric, not this Eric.
Nope.
Eric
Yeah.
Reisner kind of run that.
So I kind of call it like Eric and Emily Reisner and Michael and Katie Connor. 'Cause
Yeah.
I count the wives in the mix with them because they're
and they
such a
just
part
do
of
an
that
amazing
support.
job. And like every Sunday night, they have the kids over to their house and they cook breakfast for them and they have them over. And I've taken Ben over several times, and they've asked me to stay for different things. And it's just so cool to see the kids building that community and having that connection. And they all love to cook. And so they're all bringing stuff. And it's just, it's neat. And you wouldn't know that if you didn't walk down the hallway, down Main Street.
Right.
to see all that's going on. I mean,
Had to throw that in.
you know, we need, I mean, that hallway could be twice the size, and I think it would still be as congested on Sunday morning because of all the stuff happening.
Yeah.
And during both services, you know, whatever hour of Grow Group that you, or whatever hour of service that you come to, whether you're at the 9 o'clock service, you know, there's options for you available at the and during the 10:30 hour. If you come to the 10:30 service, there's some great options available for you at the 9 o'clock hour that we don't think about, and that's where connections are made for our students. I mean, how does student ministry work? You've got Sunday school happens during
9 o'clock hour.
The 9 o'clock
and
hour.
so we start with like a post-COVID. We started with breakfast, and it's stuck. The kids love it. So we do like a junk breakfast from 9:15 to about 9:30, and then we split off into small groups. And there's about a half hour really working through small group time. And then at 10:30 we have them slide over and do kind of family worship, and that's something that we
That's awesome.
had here. So they're in the worship center with their families, worshiping, hearing the word,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So
We love to see that. I know the choir, we talk all the time about watching the students and how they're all out there. And I mean, a lot of them, they make up hand motions to the songs, but I mean, they're not distracting. They're into it. They're loving what they're doing.
distracting me a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, well, you're up there playing and you want to kill them, I understand. But how about children's ministry? Like, tell us what happens on Sunday mornings. for our
Yeah,
children's
well, and I do want to brag on the students. They're actually coming up in a few weeks to teach the kids so I can meet with our leaders, which is, we haven't done that in a while, but they always do a good job. I remember a couple of years ago, one of our kids was like, when are those youth coming back? And I was like, well, 'cause we really miss them. You know, they love it.
That was sweet.
When they come back, and it's really exciting. And we have a few that come up on Sundays during our Kid Life worship, and they do a great job. They're almost better than our regular leaders. We love our regular leaders, but the kids don't bring their phones. So when the youth come, they're geared up, they're dancing, they're a part of it. You know, it's so much
That's
fun.
cool.
So on Sunday mornings we do our groups. So we have, you know, smaller groups, and our leaders. One thing I love is when I fill in for a class, I'll always forget. The kids will be like, "Where's our Starburst?" And I'm like, "What do you mean Starburst?" And they'll all get out their Bibles and hold them up because the leaders have been giving them treats for bringing their Bibles.
cool.
We should do
So
that with
they'll all
the
bring their
adults.
Bibles. So, yeah. Hold up your Bibles, and the deacons come around.
Throw it out.
The deacons come around with Starburst. Yeah. But they get those for doing that, and they love it, you know. And it just, to me, it's exciting because I have kids that will come in, and there's a family right now that all three of the kids have their own Bibles, and the parents have put so much money into it. They have the big Bible covers, so they got big Bibles, and then they have tabs. So they'll come in to Kid Life Worship, which is our second hour at 10:30, where we do a worship service, and they'll be like, "Pastor Jeremy, where are we going to be in the Bible study today?" And they'll already have it open, and they'll be looking up the story and and along with it, and it's just so much fun.
That is awesome.
And then on Wednesday nights we do our Olympians ministry, which really is trying to get kids in the Bible every day, trying to build that daily relationship. Our PB&J, Prayer, Bible, and Jesus. And one of the cool things we do is we do service projects up there. We do a lot of collections. Then we do cards for the nursing home. We'll be doing snacks for the first responders this month and writing them cards saying thank you. So it's cool to be a part of that and to get kids. You know, the mission here of the church is to love Jesus, serve others, make disciples. And I put become disciples because so many kids aren't Christian yet, but just our leaders do a great job of just teaching them the habit of this is what a Christian looks like. This is what they do. And then you just pray that they become one. And so many become one when they're young. Yesterday we had a first steps class. We had a bunch of families come.
That's awesome.
And so soon you'll probably be hearing a bunch more kids are taking that step of salvation.
Awesome.
And you'll see it through baptism. So
That's so
Very
awesome.
cool.
it's really exciting.
There
I
is
love
so
doing the
much,
baptism.
There's so much great stuff that happens here on a Sunday morning and a Wednesday night that if you're just an attender at worship service, you miss a lot of that. There's so much more to get plugged into. And we really hope that you grabbed one of those prayer cards. We'll actually link a PDF of that to this podcast, the prayer cards we gave out yesterday. So you'll know how to pray for each of these ministries. Anybody else have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was going to
as we
mention,
close?
I mean, you mentioned really good explanation, kind of both hours on Sunday morning. One of my goals would be down the road, I'd love to see us fill up every class, both hours. That would be the ideal. Like people say, well, what are you going to do when you get full? Well, we're not full yet. We've got 2 hours, so we've got double the space. And at that point, then we can pray about where we go next. Do we start one at 8? Do we go off property for some groups? But we have plenty of room to grow, and so I'm looking to start more groups. We have seen this year with the addition of that group plus the one that Kelly and Christine lead. It's now it's gonna officially be called the Soul Kill group. I hadn't told you
Soul
that.
cool.
Care.
Yeah, so they
Breaking
like the
news.
name.
Do they have to dance on their way into the room?
I don't know if they do that or not. I haven't seen them do
Soul
that.
Train?
But you'll have
Soul
to ask them. So yeah.
We were with you.
Is this good?
But the cool thing is, what we've seen attendance totals grow. And as we start new groups, more people are getting into groups. And with those college and young adults, but then also with that group as well, most of the people in those groups are not transferring from one group to that group. They're brand new people in groups. So those are people who weren't in groups before. So, sometimes people are like, we want our group to get bigger. I'm like, great, reach people, get your group bigger. That's awesome. But I love to see new groups start too, because then it often is an easy place for people to get into a group for the first time. If they've not been in one, and we've got ones that have been going for many, many years, and they're great groups and they do great ministry. But those new groups often are the ones that new people want to jump into first. So that's been exciting. But the other part I'd say too is our D groups. Last year, Brooks and I did a men's Bible study on Tuesday mornings. And at the very last session, we basically said, here's a bonus. Next week, we're going to meet. We're going to talk about D groups. And from that, we had D groups get started. And the ladies ministry's been doing a good job too. They'll try to get out the word about D groups at the end of their sessions whenever they do Bible study. So it's cool to see that mix. And that's something we can't measure so easily. We've had people who do D groups and they'll take a break, and that's okay. I mean, if their time and their season can't support it, we get that. But it's cool to see that people are taking it further than just Sunday and Wednesday, and that they're putting it into their rhythm of their life and in their weeks, like the girls, having their Bible study off campus, on their own. And I love that because, and there's so many different ways to do discipleship. And really it's about I even mentioned it yesterday, different environments, different size groups, different places. They all have their value. And as long as we're all trying to follow Jesus and seek after him together, then if whatever that atmosphere looks like, find it. And the more of them you can have, I think the stronger it makes you.
Would you say every group has its own flavor?
Probably so, yeah. But the coffee all comes from the same place.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up. There's a lot of great things happening here at First Baptist Church of the Islands, and we're excited to have each of you a part of it. If you would like more information about our student ministry, our children's ministry, our preschool ministry, or our Grow Group discipleship ministry, you can find all of that out on our website, fbcislands.com. You can also email any of us. It's just our first name at fbcislands.com, and we'd be happy to give you more information or answer any questions that you have. I think that's a good podcast today. We missed our pastor, but I think we did pretty well without him.
We did all right.
This was the best one ever.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for joining us, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Chasing the Rabbit. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform and turn on those notifications. For more info about the ministry of our church and what it means to have a relationship with Jesus, visit our website, fbcislands.com. And for more content, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, FBC of the Islands. And don't forget to click that bell for notifications. We'll see you next time.